Welcome back to Tech, Tesla, and Trends. Tonight I'm just touching base on the changes that are occurring within legacy auto. First, we have GM that is announcing it's going to start making 4680s. Oh, GM, it's going to be too little, too late. But it's a good try, and at least you're admitting that Tesla is actually the leader that you claim to be, Mary. Now, the follow-on to that is Ford announcing it has to cut the prices on its Mach-E vehicles in order to compete with Tesla. That doesn't bode well for Ford. They weren't making much money, if any, on those Mach-E's to begin with. That's going to be a challenge and a problem indeed. And Akio Toyoda. At least he recognized that he was the anchor around Toyota's neck and is stepping back because he doesn't understand the digitalization of cars. Duh! When you have that many irons in the fire, you're going to fail as a company. So perhaps Toyota will find a way forward under the competent leadership from Lexus. Now, what do all of these three major giants have in common? They are adopting ways of thinking that are encouraged by Tesla. Or they're changing their business practices because of Tesla. This matters and demonstrates that giant moat that exists between Tesla and all other car manufacturers. There is a difference. There is a massive moat. The 4680 ramp that Tesla's been going through, GM will have to take at least 3 years to get even to a basic level of production, and probably more given their problems with the LG battery contract that they had for their other plants. That battery contract and their plans for their 4 massive battery plants, when they're shedding their pouch plants, how much money have they invested in that? That is going to be damaging to their bottom line in the next 5 years. I don't know how GM will make it out of this particular pit that B.S. Barra has sent them into. And then as a sidebar note, Software Day? Really, GM? You sound like a Me Too more and more every day. Perhaps it is time to admit that Tesla was right and that you need their help. Come to them with your hat in hand and swallow your damn pride. Perhaps then GM could survive. As is, with B.S. Barra at the helm, claiming that GM's going to catch Tesla next year or the year after or 5 years or whatever her current line of lie is, because it's not going to happen. And if you're a fan of GM, you have to be honest with yourself. 30 different models, it doesn't matter. If you don't make any money on each model, you're going to lose. And if you can only sell 26, as happened 2 years ago, you're in trouble too. As for Ford, Farley has his head screwed on straight. Perhaps he will be able to guide them out of this and learn how to make the Mach-E and the Lightning and the all-electric van a profitable venture with Ford Blue. Now, as for Toyota, we can only hope. There is not a market for all of the many different ways that Toyota thinks currently that it's going to sell cars. If the Lexus division head can come in and bring everybody into line on building competent electric vehicles, not some vehicle that is just tossed together and split with Subaru and the wheels fall off. That you have to put in a real effort, Toyota. Otherwise, that lead that you just lost, it's going to not just be a short-term thing. As a big fan of Tesla, I recognize that competition is actually a very positive thing for Tesla. So I want to see Ford, and as crazy as it sounds, I even want to see GM survive to become competitive, because it will push the Tesla engineers to do something even more impressive. Because that is good not only for EVs, but it's good for us as consumers and as Tesla investors for sure. Toyota could become the Motorola of our generation quite easily if it's not careful, and become mostly irrelevant in the first world. That is a scary thought if you're Toyota, or at least it should be. I'll leave you with those thoughts. I'd love to hear your comments, where you think everybody else is. There are some competent players in the market. Polestar, for one. They're the quiet underdog that's just ticking along and doing what needs to be done. Not surprising from Volvo engineers. There's others. We've got Hyundai out there doing its thing, and perhaps we can see some others. I'm curious which ones you think are going to surprise us all. Personally, I think there will be a lot of Chinese names that we don't recognize right now that are going to enter into the mix. So, down below, let's hear your comments. Give it a like or subscribe, and we'll go from there. Have a great night.